that mountain over there, like you can see a couple of buildings and stuff, that's Mount Buller.
Yeah, yep.
This video is actually from January last year, 2024. I realised as I was getting organised and planning to go for our ride that we often do down in the mountains this summer that I never actually made the video from last year. So here it is. So this is us riding to Craig's Hut. Lily and I went down last year. We camped at Razorback Hut and we did a day trip riding up to Craig's Hut and back, which, you know, most people would know is a bucket list for many Australian people who have watched The Man from Snow River. And yeah, we finally did it. We travelled down on the Friday. It's about a 5-hour trip in the float for us.
This way.
We unloaded a couple of times and gave them a stretch and a wee, which, yeah, many people push on and don't stop and get them off in such a relatively short trip. And if I couldn't, I wouldn't, but they're both excellent travellers and they're used to unloading in many varied places, and so I didn't have a drama doing that.
Did you want to stop here and have a look at this hut? It's a pretty cool one.
Yeah, sure.
So we got there early afternoon and we set up camp and had a bit of a ride on the Friday afternoon, and then Saturday we headed up to Craig's Hut. As you can see, there's another couple with us. They just happened to be camped at Razorback Hut also to spend the weekend riding, and we got to talking to them on Friday afternoon while I was fixing a flat tyre. And they were reasonably local and they knew the trails, and yeah, they decided to join us and, well, join us. They led us, as you can see. And, you know, we would have got there without them. We have maps, we have, you know, it's pretty well known way. There's map boards at the campgrounds and stuff. But some of these little trails, like what we're on now, we probably wouldn't have known to take. We would have ended up on that service road that you can see just in front of us.
I love it.
So it was good. They were with us and got to leading us onto a very nice trail to Craig's Hut.
So dramatic.
There's lots of loose rocks on the trail. Our horses didn't really love it. They were, you know, as prepared as we could have them to be, but
steering
you
is a
just
lot
can't
easier one-handed.
school this kind of thing until you're there doing it. Bumper doesn't like narrow spaces, so when the track was sort of worn into the ground, he kept on trying to go out of it like that.
I don't know.
'Cause, yeah, he doesn't love it.
You're alright.
But ultimately, it was a hard ride, but they coped with it quite well.
You just do what you need to. It's the other horses, man. Hello.
Yeah, no, we put some on before we left.
I just thought it was funny.
Uncle flicked the branch up and nearly hit us in the head.
Oh, if it means anything, I'm getting every single flyweb.
Good luck for us.
Oh, probably not the big one, actually.
Yeah, no, that's all us. We're good. Oi. Good boy. You doing alright? Lovely view. Alright. Cutting corners, that'll be bumpy. Ow. This one. Good boy. See, it's a trail, but it's still a proper trail. That'll. Come on. No. No. Come on. I know you can do it. But see how good, like, he'll do it now. Dude. Shit. Stop trotting, Bump.
I didn't even have to duck.
Beautiful.
So this is the last little bit of the trail before we pop down into the clearing at the top of the hill. That is Craig's hut. There it is. It was pretty quiet when we got there. We took their head collars with us, so we took their bridles off and tied them up and had a look around, and of course had the customary photos taken. It was pretty special to do the ride, especially on our own horses. We'd taken some lunch with us, and Lily had a backpack on. We took some bread rolls and some drinks and stuff. So we tied them up to some trees over at the picnic area and had our lunch, and they had a rest before we headed off back down the hill. While we were there, a trail riding company came and set up for lunch, and a little bit while later the group of trail riders turned up. Just pretty much as we were leaving, they were all still over at the hut, so that was good timing. There's baling twine on trees everywhere around there because they do it regularly, so there was no dramas tying the horses up while we had lunch.
Good boy.
On the way back, we headed up to the summit of Mount Sterling. That was a nice place to visit. Probably recognisable to most people who have seen the Man from Snow River movies many times. like most of us have. Heading back down I don't think was much easier than heading up. Downhill over the terrain was still a difficult ride, but it was quite the adventure. I'm so glad we did it. There's actually this very handy gravity-fed water trough about a third of the way from the campsite along the ride, so it was good to stop and give the horses a drink. They weren't very interested on the way up, but they were on the way back. On the Sunday morning we took the horses for a little ride, mostly just to have a stretch out all their muscles and ours after the big ride on the Saturday, before we packed up camp and headed home. It was actually a pretty easy drive on the way in. It was much easier than the year before when we went down the Alpine Way to Tom Grogan. It was a very easy drive with the float on in and out, and it wasn't long we were back on the freeway and headed home.